What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So currently we know what's going on. The current administration, they have imposed tariffs on all these different countries. Do you think that is effective? Do you think it's working? I want you guys to let me know in the comments below. I'm going to show you guys a clip today. And this is going to be another farmer talking about how he's struggling. And most of these farmers, when they talk, when they do these interviews, they say, we don't want a bailout. We don't want a handout. We just want to be able to sell our products to people in the US as well as in other countries. And so I'm going to show you this clip. And this is interesting because this is Fox Business. And they're going to put it out there when it comes to the current policy, that what they think about the policy and how they're looking at this as a failure at this point. So I'm going to show you that clip. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video. If you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, now before I show you this clip, the reason that I'm showing you these farmers and the farmers that are struggling, I'm not doing this to say, well, you know, look, some of these farmers voted for Trump and now they're struggling. It's not about that. I'm just trying to show you that certain policies can really impact you. And so you could be in a situation where you think, you know what? Yeah, I think President Trump would make a great president. That's why I voted for him. But if he's talking about things like tariffs, which he was talking about tariffs when he was running for office, if he's talking about things like that, you have to look past that and think, okay, what will be the ramifications of tariffs? And we're seeing some of the ramifications. We're seeing farmers now. We're going to see everyone in the U.S. We're all going to be impacted by tariffs if they stay on the books. Okay, and I say if they stay on the books because we know an appellate court has ruled that the way that Trump is imposing these tariffs is not the right way to do it. He can't say that this is an emergency and that's why we're doing it to all of these different countries. You have to be able to justify that. Congress needs to pass legislation in order to increase these tariffs, not the president. The president can do it in an emergency situation, but he has to be able to justify the emergency. And he's not justifying the emergency. And so let me show you this clip and then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
Look, 8 years ago, they were a #1 customer. They took almost 40% of our soybeans 8 years ago, and now they take 0.
That's right. In 2018, with President Trump's first round of tariffs on China, at that moment, China was the largest export market for American soy. And they bought 60% of our soybean exports. And they are essentially, exports have collapsed this year, and there are no new orders logged in recent months. And quite frankly, unless something happens to reopen new markets for these farmers, you can't bail people out. That's how much you're going to give them that every year. I mean, you could do that. The tariff revenue is running about, on average in the last couple of months, about $30 billion a month. But do the farmers want welfare? Because that's what it is.
So this is you're in a trade war, right? And this is the casualty of it now. And so China's using this as leverage because that's how you're going to put pressure on Trump.
And so this is the situation. You heard that last person talking about China is using this as leverage. Yes, they're going to use this as leverage. They have other options now. They can buy from Brazil. They can buy from Argentina. They don't need the U.S. And so, yes, this is going to be bad for farmers in the U.S., and I don't see it getting any better. And so even if you have these bailouts, and what did it show? 12-point-something billion is the revenue that would be collected from China if China was still buying soybeans from us. So every year now we're going to have $12 billion go out to farmers just to keep them afloat. And make no mistake, most of these farmers would probably tell you they want customers because they know customers, that's how they can grow their business. They can't grow their business if they're just getting a bailout every year. And so they don't want that. And you hear Fox Business talking about welfare and stuff like that when it comes to farmers. Yes, you're going to have people, the American people, saying, wait a minute, why are we sending money to these different farmers? Why are we bailing them out? Because if the shoe was on the other foot and you had people struggling, which we have people struggling, asking for money, then that's a problem. Then that's welfare. And we shouldn't be doing that. They need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and all of that. But when it comes to the farmers, what's the difference? Because you're not allowing these farmers to actually grow their business. You're just giving them a handout just to keep their business afloat. Should we be doing that? That's my question. So I want you guys to let me know in the comments below. But you see, Fox News is even saying this. Fox News is saying, I don't think this would be a good idea. This is not going to, for the farmers in their future, this is not going to help them. The only way that they can be helped is by bringing back those customers. If you can bring back China. So you're going to have to negotiate with China and say, okay, look, we made a mistake. We need your business back. That's the only way that this is going to be solved. And I think in this clip, they were saying about 60%. China was buying about 60% of the soybeans in the past. And so that is what you need to do to solve this problem. And this is a simple fix. You've imposed tariffs on China. You talk with China, you say, okay, we need to negotiate this. We'll negotiate the tariffs down if you start buying our soybean again. That's what needs to happen. Will President Trump do that? Will this current administration do that? I don't know. Because the way President Trump might look at this is, we failed. Well, you know what? Yes, you have failed. You failed all these farmers because these farmers are struggling now. And they're struggling as a direct result of the tariffs.
I'm Chris Gibbs, a farmer in West Central Ohio. We own and operate 560 acres of corn, soybeans, and wheat.
Tyler Staff on my farm is located fairly close to Makoti, North Dakota.
I think what folks need to realize is how much of our soybean crop gets shipped overseas and is purchased by foreign buyers. That's about 50%. Out of that portion, half of that gets sold historically to China. And China this year has purchased zero amount of our soybeans, which is unprecedented.
I haven't actually marketed any of my beans yet because the price is at a point where I don't want to sell anything. So what I'm doing at this point is storing my beans, hoping for some type of economic recovery that the price goes up. In the meantime, yes, I'm losing money.
We're just about done with our soybeans, and we're $2 a bushel under the cost of production. That manifests as $100 loss for every acre that I harvest. So I'm about done with our soybean harvest. We've lost. We're rolling right into a guaranteed loss for that crop.
The financial stress is real. Like if you're a business like mine, you have to have dollars coming in order to pay the bills that inevitably come. So the longer that it takes for Congress to approve an aid package, the more we feel it out here.
Certainly any kind of a bailout will help agriculture. It'll help farmers. It'll help relieve what we are currently in, which is a major cash flow and working capital crisis. But that's not what farmers want. Farmers, ranchers, men and women that work in agriculture, these are independent folks, and they're not interested in bailouts. They're interested in our markets.
The farmers that are dependent upon soybean sales and the Main Street businesses that are dependent on farmers spending money, without a fix to this, it will be extremely devastating. There will be many, many that will go out of business. Again, the rural towns will suffer, the schools will suffer. It's a cascading effect. Like this doesn't just affect farmers, it affects all of rural America.
And that last part there that he talked about, this is something that is not just going to impact farmers. This is going to impact farmers, but it also is going to impact these small towns or these towns in general. Because if you have a town, let's say you have farms in a town, you have people who are working on those farms. Those same people are probably going to the local restaurants. They're going to the local dry cleaners. They're going to the local supermarkets. But if these farms go under, or if these farms are struggling and they stop and they lay off people and they stop doing business, well, that is going to have a ripple effect in the community, because if you have less people going into a restaurant, well, the restaurant starts laying off people. If you have less people going to the dry cleaner, then the dry cleaner starts laying off people. If you have less people going to the supermarket, then the supermarket will have to lay off people. And so you're impacting a whole community as a result of tariffs' impact on farmers. And so this is not just about farmers. Farmers, this is just the beginning, because we're seeing the retaliation coming from other countries saying that they're not buying our products anymore. That's the beginning. But what we're going to see throughout the U.S. is we're going to see other businesses that are going to suffer as a result of this, other people that are going to suffer as a result of this. And so right now you're hearing, well, farmers can get a bailout, but what about everyone else? What about these small communities that will not get a bailout? How are we going to help them? Because if farmers get a bailout, that doesn't mean that they're going to hire more employees, because they really have no business. They're not selling anything at this point. all they're doing is they'll get these bailouts in order to recoup some of the losses, but they still don't have customers. They still don't have people buying their soybean. And if they don't have people buying their soybean, they can't justify hiring people. And so we're looking at a situation right now where we could see farmers get a bailout. But as a result of what's already happened, you're going to see businesses, other businesses, not farmers, but other businesses going out of business or laying people off. Those people will be impacted, but those people are not going to get this bailout. And so I want to know what you guys think about all this. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.